everyone. I think I'm just going to start billing myself as the only sane one on this broadcast.
Jingle bells, Batman smells, Robin.
There we go. Cranky isn't cranky anymore. Alyssa's cranky.
You know what I want to see in the forest? I want to see a unicorn. Want all you want. Wish in one hand, but poop in the other.
Well, hello, fellow addicts, and ho, and welcome back to Addicts Live. I'm Alissa, your resident head addict, and my co-hosts this week are our expert on everything North Pole, Super Safi.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays from the home of Santa.
You're only like 2 parallels higher than we are, aren't you?
The funny thing is, I spent a lot of time like working in North Dakota and stuff, and that's actually further up north. I have to go north to Minnesota and North Dakota and all those areas.
It's true. All right.
And we've got the caramel corn master himself, Patric.
Indeed. The corn has been finished. The corn is complete.
I didn't get mine.
It's on the way.
Just saying.
Mailed today.
Oh, okay. So what's going on, guys? Merry Christmas. Things going well with your Christmas prep? Yeah,
we're in a weird I think I wrote about it in one of my posts. We're in a weird Christmas state in that we're un-Christmassy at the Miller household, but then we're going up north to Maddie's for Christmas, and then we're going to New Orleans for the rest of the holidays. So it doesn't get much more fun than that. But here it's pretty bleak. Pooh and Piglet are up, and that's about it.
You made the corn. That's a positive.
Yeah, we had to do the corn. It's like at this point the family threatens bodily harm if I don't do it. So
I saw someone on your Facebook page complaining somebody stole their corn. So I saw that already.
we have a long-standing history of my brother-in-law who one year, before they could even get it home, they had taken 2 cars. Before they could even get it home, he'd eaten it all. And so this is not a good thing. So it created a lot of grief and consternation. So I started making separate batches for that particular group and hand him his own. And somehow Rachel's ended up with him again. So we don't know what's going on.
Oh my!
I know it's very.
Saf, how's the Christmas prep going in the North Pole?
Going good here. So I'm already gonna head over to Niagara Falls for this weekend, and then after Christmas, I got myself a little mini vacation as well. So gonna head down to Costa Rica.
Whoa!
Costa Rica, not bad.
Mm-hmm. So looking forward to that.
Well, I'm not doing anything nearly as exciting. No traveling in my plans. But things here are good. We've got all our presents purchased. Now it's just a matter of wrapping. Lots and lots and lots of wrapping. We made Christmas cookies this past weekend. We did a gingerbread house over the weekend. So all that's left is to watch It's a Wonderful Life, and I'll be good to celebrate Christmas. That's all I need.
We're still going to do that at Maddie's, but it's going to be weird. I got to admit it's weird. And this is not my doing. People think I'm the Grinchy one. Mrs. Miller has said clearly, no one's coming to visit. We aren't decorating. It's like, okay. All right then. So
well, technically it is all your fault because you haven't finished the kitchen yet.
The kitchen is actually it's actually ready to go, but
you haven't finished the floors yet, I should say.
The living room is not correct. Yes, the living room is not finished. Yes, correct. It is my fault. I accept it.
So now that we've covered Christmas in our real lives, let's talk about Christmas in our pocket-sized lives, aka Springfield. Let's get some initial thoughts and reactions on Abe's in Toyland.
So
Pat.
First thought, is it Christmas?
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I think EA kind of took the lead from my wife. There's not a lot of Christmas in this year Christmas. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It's it's kind of more of the same, and it seems more like it should have been a genealogy or a Father's Day event or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I should preface this by saying we're recording this on Monday. You guys will watch this on Saturday and listen to this on Saturday. So we're recording this as week 1 is about to end. So week 2 has not started yet. But we know what's coming because we get info packets from EA and, I look at the files.
Right.
So we can talk to it. But, as far as actual gameplay and everything, we haven't actually seen it yet. So, but
yeah, it's in the calendar. It's in the people know kind of what's coming in the calendar. So it's like, and where's Christmas again? Where's I don't know. It is interesting.
yes,
Character sets. If you go to your character sets, you can see which characters are coming up to this event as well.
Yeah.
yep. So
Nary an elf in the bunch once we got past the crowd. That was it, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Saf, what were your thoughts? I kind of cut you off in the beginning there.
So, I mean, aside from like the fact that it's not really Christmas, it's been pretty similar to some of the other past events we've had. You had some nice new characters. I mean, Abby and Edwina were in my bracket battle this year, so there's some good characters that they brought in. I really like the gingerbread Christmas sofa. You tap and the Simpsons gingerbread characters come running onto it and tap and they run away. I really like that one. That's actually one of my more favorite decorations we've had in recent times. I'd probably rank it in my top 3 of this year, if not number 1. So yeah, it was. I really liked that one. So
I think Safi has got a little couch envy. I think is what's going on.
I love couches.
Someday you'll have a place of your own, Safi, and you'll have your own couch.
And yeah, I'm gonna run onto it and then Simpson style. I actually have a picture from in 2000. I went to the Simpsons. They had like their traveling exhibition, and I got a picture on the Simpsons sofa.
Well,
so
if you ever come to the real Springfield, there's an entire Simpsons thing that they sent out that Fox sent out that it has got all of them in full size and the whole bit. So
if you ever come to Canada, we have that house with all the Simpsons cutouts and figurines, life size. So
yeah, we don't know what's going on up there. It seems like again, a poor little brother substitute, but they steal our baseball team, they steal our Simpsons,
So I've kind of got the same thoughts as you guys as far as the event goes, and I shared them in my musings post last week. I'm not going to speak to a multi-event because we've had a whole year of multi-events. I think we've talked about them to death. We've weighed the pros, we've weighed the cons. You either like them or you hate them. I mean, there's really no middle ground. You either like them or you hate them. But speaking to the fact that this is supposed to be a Christmas event, there's like no Christmas. Outside the elves and the gingerbread couch, every other prize is not Christmas. It's kind of weird. Outside the snow, you wouldn't know it was a outside the snow and the date, I should say, you wouldn't know it was a Christmas event in TSTO. The other thing too is there are 3 prizes per act when you break it down. Yes, there are technically 5 prizes per act, but when everything boils down, and really you get 3 real prizes and 2
Safi is signing for the.
I'm doing my math. 5 minus 3 is 2.
You must have watched the Sesame Street being inducted into the Kennedy Honors last night, right? Like the count. Go ahead.
So you got 3 prizes per act, 3 real prizes per act, and then you got 2 mystery box tokens, which essentially, if you don't have the mystery box, they're donuts, and we'll talk about them in a minute. But as far as the 3 new prizes per act, it's like, what a jip. I mean, they're not. Yes, every act is going to get a character, but the decoration / buildings, they're all kind of like, okay, this is it. This is supposed to be Christmas. I mean, come on.
I think the even bigger faux pas I mean, I agree with everything you said. First of all, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said. How dare
That's because
I?
I'm always right.
How dare I during
I
Christmas?
agree with the exception of the gingerbread sofa house.
She
Well,
loves.
sofa.
Yeah.
But yes.
Actually, he's just revealed he's going to live in the sofa now, so it's a sofa house. Anyway, no, I think the bigger faux pas is some of the things they didn't bring back. There are a lot of new players that don't have house decorations. The plunger was like, everybody's talking about turn on your plunger. It's like, well, what plunger? I don't have a plunger. Or they have the plunger and no houses. To not bring back the skins as part of this event is just idiotic. It's part of the thing that makes the Christmas time fun. So I'm not tracking where EA goes these days with their decisions on what they bring back or how they bring it back, but this should really have been a preponderance of really easy things to bring back, skins and characters and decorations, and they really didn't. They really didn't. So I feel bad for the people that have been, let's say, playing for 3 years and have never had a shot to get a lot of the skins.
Yeah, I mean, it's you've got 3 new prizes per act, which really, I mean, sucks for older players. People have been playing this game for 7 years. You've got all this old content, so it really kind of sucks.
Or like in the golden box, you have a bunch of stuff you didn't want in the first place, which is exactly why you didn't take it, and now we have it.
That's what happened to me. If you speak to the Winter Wonderland mystery box, I had one thing in my box, and that was Krusty Christmas on Ice, and I had it because I didn't want it. It was a big building, and I didn't feel like it fit into my Springfield, and I didn't want it. So that's why it was sitting there. But yeah, I mean, going back to the lights, I think it would have been better if they, I know, Pat, you're going to kill me for saying this. I think it would have been better if they had taken those 2 tokens and almost made it like a wheel concept in a mystery box where it was full of, where it was full of like Christmas decorations. You could get extra lights, you could get extra, Christmas trees, all kinds of various Christmas decorations. And you could either use those tokens, or if you ran out of tokens, you could also spend donuts on it. But at least it would have been something new, something fresh. Therefore, you could potentially get everything in there. So that takes away the element of, you're not guaranteed to get everything. So at least if you have it with donuts, you could potentially get everything. But it also makes it fun and exciting for all players, not just old players. Because if you put lights for Christmas houses in there, the players that missed that out could get those. And if you have other decorations in there, I mean, there's a lot of stuff they could have done with that.
Well, there's an operative thing going on here, and that is that EA has stopped programming, except for Bob, the part-time programmer who also delivers pizzas, as we've talked about before. And Bob doesn't have the time or the budget, apparently, to do anything except these very basic programmed events. So what you're talking about makes perfect sense, but it would actually take programming to do it.
Yeah.
You actually have this stuff.
To outsource to Bobber.
Yeah, there you go. The thing is, it's funny, is they have a lot of this stuff pre-programmed. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of logic as a programmer to go in and take something you've done before and repeat it. Yeah, change what
the items.
Exactly. So I would have even liked to go back to crafting or something where you had a choice to get something else. But
one thing I've liked with the multi-events is that they did eliminate crafting, and events like Halloween and Christmas brought back returning items available for cash. So if you wanted it, you didn't have to grind for it. If you had the cash, you could just buy it. So there are items you could just buy, decorations and stuff you could just buy with cash. Right. But I will say, too, to the programming aspect, the Winter Wonderland box is not new. I mean, that's been around. Actually, I think that first came out in 2017. Mm-hmm. They brought it back last year, but they did add more content to it this year, which I give them credit for, because anytime they bring another box back, they don't add anything new to it. This box, They actually added stuff to it from last Christmas, which was nice to see. Of course, I had it all, but it was nice to see that they did that. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're going to add new content to that, how hard is it to throw in the Christmas light skins, or
Well,
throw
the
in some.
coin. I mean, why even bother with the coins? That's my point. Why even bother giving out coins if it's not really a valid, currency for anything you want? Who cares? You could have given me 50. I don't care.
I mean, it's hard to believe that they looked at all these acts and they said, well, I can only think of three new prizes, so let's give some tokens away because we need 5. Like, it's hard to believe for Act 1, the only thing they could think of was the elves, the gingerbread couch, and Orville. I mean, it's hard to believe those are the only 3 things they could think of to add. And same with Act 2. Act 2 goes to London. You've got Edwina, you've got the double-decker bus, and you've got oh crap, what's the third one? If you probably have it up, I don't have it up.
Yeah, I could tell you in just a sec here. Act 2, we got the Winter Wonderland, the Currency, the Carnaby Street, double-decker bus, yeah.
The Carnaby Street. So it's hard to believe those are the only 3 things they could think of to add. Like, it's like, are you guys kidding me? There are so many other things they could have done that to use the tokens. While I appreciate the sentiment, everybody could potentially get something different out of that mystery box. If you already, when the way they've been doing it for Halloween and for Simpsons Babies was if you already had that character, you got donuts. That was it. There was no other option. In this case, if you don't already have or if you win the mystery box token, you potentially could get something out of the mystery box that you didn't have before. But in this day and age, almost everybody's a friggin' farmer. That they probably already have it. Well, let me not talk circles around myself, but I will say the stuff that they just added, the new stuff they added from Christmas last year, where you've got young Marge, young Artie, young Barney, that's not available anywhere. So this is actually the first time that stuff has come back, with the exception of the classless reunion. So there is a potential.
Again, though, has absolutely nothing to do with Christmas or theme. I mean, again, the whole problem I have, I keep jumping in here, but the whole problem they have is that it seems like they really don't care about carrying a real theme through all 4 weeks. I could have lived with it if they had actually had 4 weeks of Christmassy something, or even let's just go to the whole thing of drawing out the bit with the going back to Orville and great grandpa and the watch and all that whole bit. As I talked about in the filler, that was a flash by in one episode. It went boom, 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 boom. And here we are now with all this, this content based on that stuff. It's like, draw it out, actually tell the story, have fun with it. And instead we're going to go to England and then we're going to go, it's just like, come on.
There too, it's like 3 prizes, like you mentioned. I mean, just look at my post. I gave you 8 prizes right there in the bracket battle from that episode from Abby and Edwina. Like, there's no shortage of content that you need to pull from, where you're limited to just 3.
It's like continuity is out the window. They have no continuity at all. So
and there's 2 things. Like, the theme wise, I talked about that in my music's post. This almost feels like it could have been a Valentine's Day event. Outside the first act, everything else follows love stories of Abe Simpson. So this to me seems like ideas they wanted to use for Valentine's Day last year couldn't figure out how to work them in there. So like, let's make it Christmas.
Or it could have been 23andMe. It could have been a whole big advertisement for 23andMe.
Exactly. So. And then as far as like cohesiveness, I mean, we've had readers complain on the site for a while now. It's like you do an event and nothing is there's no real content from the event that makes it work all together. Each act is its own separate thing, and you can't really fit them together and make them work together. And it's
the writing even barely holds it together. It's almost like a flashback of a flashback of a flashback to make it work. So
I mean, you go to. Looking ahead to Act 2, which everybody would be in now that they're watching this, the only way this remotely relates to Christmas very loosely is they mentioned Christmas Eve. So, I mean, that's pretty much. There's a couple other little things, but it's like they really kind of went out of their way to bring the story to mention the fact to mention Christmas. That it feels like it could have been anything. What do you think, Saf?
No, I agree. Like, they're kind of pulling at strings. There's really no rhyme or reason to the 4 acts kind of coming together. They're kind of pulling at strings here to, like, say that Abe is saving Christmas in his little argument with Death. So it's
I mean, what, again, it's, as I wrote about, it starts right away with Death. It's like, what are we doing here? Are they going to kill?
Nothing says Christmas like Death, right?
Yeah, are they going to kill Grandpa? Are they going to?
Pat, you will appreciate the ending. I don't know if you've read it in the dialogues. I've had it up on the site. Like, I've had it in the back files of the site for a little while. Pat, you will greatly appreciate the ending. It's very Pat-esque.
Good.
So I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't, because we're only, as you're watching this, you're only in Act 2, so I don't want to spoil the ending for everybody. But you will appreciate it. Right. But yes, it is weird. Like, Death is kind of like, okay, it's Christmas Eve. No one wants to listen to his stories. They all go to bed, and in pops Death. So Grandpa's gonna board Death to death. Like, is that what we're facing?
Yeah, apparently.
The other interesting theme too is that it always seems to be that as they're weaving the real life into the story, even Death is just as confused listening to these stories as most people are listening to Grandpa speak.
Yeah, that's more out of real life.
So it's kind of amusing. Oh, Saf, what do you think they could have done? I mean, let's speak to Act 2, since that's what we will be in now. What do you think they could have added to make Act 2 better?
Well, I mean, just generally, the consensus seems to be, like, when you're reading people's comments, it doesn't feel like a Christmas event. So the prize track, like you said, this could have been better suited for a different time of year. And there's no shortage of Christmas episodes. I mean, like, they could have just pulled from this season's Christmas episode from last Sunday, or from, like, last year, or like, we got almost 30 different Christmas episodes that they could have pulled from, and had, like, 4 disjoint prize tracks if they wanted to. Yeah, it just feels like this one's could have fit into, like, Around the World or any other type of event that you mentioned. But
yeah,
that would be my biggest thing.
The episode I hated the episode 2 weeks ago. I really liked
Thanksgiving.
The one after.
Not Thanksgiving War. No, that was a really good one. You can't hate that one.
No, the one we just saw, the one that was on last. Was he 2 nights ago? Last night? What day is this? Here we are.
It was last night with
Steve Ballmer. It was hilarious. I mean, there was a lot of bits and pieces in there that I just thought it was really funny. And you get Sideshow Bob back again, and I mean, the whole thing I thought was really clever. Yeah.
I mean, the thing that gets me is you look at this content and, like, less than a handful of things are actually from Christmas events. Because some of the Christmas events have gone off the rails a little bit. So or Christmas episodes, you can kind of be like, okay, well, it's still from that episode. I get it. But you've got less than a handful of things that are actually from there. It's kind of it's like, are we at the point where they're scraping the bottom of the barrel? Because they shouldn't be. I mean, there's so much content. There's new content. Mm-hmm. It's like we've waited all year for this. It's like you've waited all year for Christmas, and all you got under your tree was socks and holy underwear.
Like, I mean,
honestly,
I have no problem with the price track. Yeah, I have no problem with this price track if it was some other time of year. Just the only thing they could have done to improve it, I feel like, is have it be more Christmas or winter-esque. Like, London could have gone in any of those Around the World, Valentine's Day, Father's Day, any other time of year. Like, and similarly with Act 3 and 4, like, I don't know, it doesn't really feel like Christmas.
I think the bigger concern for me is that generally the Christmas episode is the one that sets the flavor for the coming year, as far as programming wise. And it's pretty clear we are now 13 months, maybe 14 months into this format. So welcome to this format. It's funny. I don't want to jump the gun on the show we're going to do for the end of the year, and I won't. But it is interesting just where we are. It's kind of like we're really happy that we still have episodes, but is this the best they can do? No, it's not. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, I won't continue to beat a dead horse. I mean, this will probably go down as the shortest episode of Addicts Live in the 3 years we've been doing this, because there really isn't much to talk about with this multi-event. This is the 5th one this year, 6th overall that we've seen. It's the same thing. The dialogue's great, like it always seems to be, and everything else seems to be drastically lacking. There's so many little minor tweaks and changes that EA could do to make it really, really, really good, because I'm on board with the 4-week concept. I'm happy with the 4-week concept. But there's so many little tweaks and changes that they could do, and it's nothing major. Wouldn't take any massive programming, and they just won't do it. They just won't listen.
Yeah, like increasing the item limits would be really nice. I mean, my God, it's been since May, and there's no more room to put anything. I mean, it's like I can't. Anytime I do anything, anytime I win something, I've got to pull something off.
They just want you
I hate
to
it.
take down your peeing man.
I'm
That's
not
all.
going. My peeing man doesn't take very much. It's it's my giant Buddhist garden that wipes up a lot. But
I think what I'm going to do is Monday is Festivus. I think I'm going to write a post and have everybody air their grievances with EA in one post. I think
like
that's what we'll do.
That's good. That's good.
So I think we'll have a Festivus for the rest of us on Monday. So if you're watching this or listening to this, look for that post on Monday to share your grievances. And that is a post that will be just for grievances. So no sunshine and rainbows.
I'm looking at.
There will be
I'm
sunshine
looking at
and
my
rainbows in the
poll.
morning during the Math Mayhem.
Oh, there we go.
Yes.
I'm looking at my pole lamp. I may have to put like a little frowny face on one of the lights because it could be my Festivus pole.
So with that, though, we will wrap up this Christmas episode in the shortest ever podcast of TSTO Addicts. Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to add?
No.
I just want to say Joyeux Noel to everyone, and wish everyone a safe and happy Christmas.
Have a wonderful Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. And we will see you guys. The next episode will be on New Year's Day, our annual Addicts Year in Review. So look forward to that and look forward to Festivus for the rest of us on Monday. But other than that, we will see everyone next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Remember, you can always catch us at TSTOaddicts.com for everything TSTO, The Simpsons, and beyond. You can also find us on Twitter and Facebook at TSTO Addicts. Until next time, friends.